What is going on, guys? It is LaFrance, and we are back again for our Monday Night Raw review for December 18th, 2017. And this show was awful. The only good portion of this show that I enjoyed was the Woken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt stuff, continuation of that. They did not meet in the ring yet, but they had their own recorded segments. It wasn't spliced back and forth between each other. It was good continuation. Matt Hardy now has a fish called Napoleon, so we'll get to that later. We'll let you hear from the Woken one and the Eater of L's later. But before we get into this, we just have to start with what happened at the end of the show. We will get to the video clip later when we do the full show. But we have a Women's Royal Rumble confirmed tonight. Stephanie McMahon, halfway through the second hour, shows up, and I guarantee they had her conveniently show up during the second hour because of that lower rating. So it's like Vince McMahon or whoever thought this through was like, oh, Stephanie. They have that feeling of, oh, Stephanie's here, so let's see what's going on, and they drag it out to the end of the night, so they feel that people are gonna come during the second hour and stay to the end. When really nobody cares about what Stephanie says. When Stephanie comes in, the ratings go down. That's why she's not any help to the ratings. I don't know who thinks Stephanie's going to help the ratings whatsoever, but basically she comes out at the end of the night and is like, the women who are going to make history again, and we're going to have a Women's Royal Rumble. Now, do you want to see a Women's Royal Rumble? No, not at all. You tell me one time you've seen a plain battle royal, not a Royal Rumble, but a plain battle royal between women that you actually have a good one. Not all the men's battle royals are good, but the women's battle royals, I have not seen one battle royal whatsoever that has been great or good. They've all been horrible. And half the time, because of Royal Rumble, it's you have to go over the top rope, 2 feet touch the floor. Anytime it's been a women's battle royal, it's always been no matter how she goes out, if she gets thrown through the ropes, if she gets thrown under the ropes, if she gets thrown over, if she just walks over top, walks through the ropes and gets knocked over. That's like every women's battle royal I've ever seen on WWE TV, and they want to make a rumble out of this. You're going to damage the one cool pay-per-view that's left, and that's the Royal Rumble by having this. And I guess they're going to have a lot of returns because there's not even 20. I don't even think there's 20 women on the main roster. Let's see. SmackDown, besides excluding the 2 women's champions, you have SmackDown. You have Carmella. You have Tamina, Lana, Becky Lynch, Naomi, Natalya, and Naomi. And that's there's one more. There's 7 or 8 women on SmackDown. And on Raw, you have Sasha Banks, you have Bayley, you have Becky, you have Alexa Bliss, who's the champion, but she doesn't count. You have Nia Jax, you have Asuka, you have Alicia Fox, you have the 3 members of Absolution. You also have the Riot Squad on SmackDown, so, you know. And that's 8 women. So that's not even 20 women right there. So what are we going to have? A lot more call-ups from NXT and 10 returns. This is just going to be a travesty. The Royal Rumble is going to take a lot of damage from this. Look at last year. Last year we got a women's Hell in a Cell. Okay, give them a shot, see what happens. Did they do a Hell in a Cell women's match this year? No. We could have. You could have had Natalya and Charlotte and the women in the Hell in a Cell if you wanted to, but they didn't do that. Why? It was a bad idea. It was horrible, and it was an awful match last year between Sasha Banks and Charlotte. So putting this match on is going to ruin and damage the Royal Rumble. Money in the Bank I'm fine with because you really can't mess up a ladder match. And other than James Ellsworth taking the briefcase down to give it to Carmella was the only bad spot of that match in my opinion. But this is going to be awful. There has not been just a single normal battle royal for women that has been good. Ever. Not even in NXT. They have never been good. Battle Royals on their own, usually are not that good anyway. The only Battle Royal that actually is good seeing is the Rumble because of all of the, we don't know who's going to come out next. But to give the women their own Royal Rumble, I'm all for women getting their own opportunities. Cage matches, Hell in a Cell, no. Steel cage matches, fine. Hardcore matches, table matches, ladder matches, that's fine. Elimination Chamber would probably be fine. But this match, you only have one option for this winner. unless she's going to go for the women's championship. And that's another thing. Are we going to have a women's title match at the Royal Rumble from either brand? Or we're just going to be like, no, we're not going to defend either one of these titles. And then we'll have all of the women on Raw and SmackDown in the Royal Rumble, and we'll just see who's going to WrestleMania. So unless Asuka is going to be winning the title at the Royal Rumble, she has to win this match. She has to. This is the only way you're going to be able to do this, is have Asuka win this match to make it any sense at all. So it's either Asuka wins the title at the Royal Rumble, or they're going to have Asuka win this. It's the only way that makes sense if you're going to keep this undefeated streak going, because people count this as a win or a loss. Because if you don't win the Royal Rumble, you lose the Royal Rumble, and that's a loss. Am I excited for the Women's Royal Rumble? No, I am not. That'll be like the one thing that I'm going to be like, well, the winner of the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble was this person, and that's that. I'm not going to really care, because I've seen battle royals between women all the time, and they're god awful. Will this be any better? Not at all. And especially with Dana Brooke in this match, I'm pretty sure, with Alicia Fox in this match, yes, those two are just awful. Lana as well, Tamina as well. That's 4 women out of this entire Royal Rumble right there that I don't even want to see in this match. So we have 2.5, we have 6 weeks, a month and a half until the Royal Rumble. And they've already put 2 stains on this pay-per-view. We also have the triple threat match for the Universal title confirmed today. We'll get into that at the start of the show. We have possibly a bad injury to another man going down in the Shield who's not named as Roman Reigns, and they had a match with him, Seth, and somebody else. We'll get to that later. And Dean didn't even get into the match, so there's a possibility that Dean Ambrose is going to be injured and out for a while, and it looked like with what happened not too long after this match, that he is going to be written off TV, and any plans of a heel Dean Ambrose have just gone down the toilet. So I don't know what's going to happen for WWE, but they've got to get their crap together, because this is just becoming a real circus. And 2018 is going to start off how 2017 has been, and it's going to be a big dumpster fire. But the show starts off with Kurt Angle coming to the ring, talking about how he's going to decide who is going to be the #1 contender by the end of the night. He talked about how the last week's match was not ended in a satisfactory way, so he was going to see who was going to win, and of course, here's Kurt Angle with his decision. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Another thing, this is really sad how this first segment went. This first segment was really sad how it went, because I was sitting here watching this segment. Kurt Angle's talking. Braun Strowman comes out. He says a few lines. I'm like, here comes Kane. Out came Kane. Then, after that, it was like, okay, here comes Paul Heyman, and out came Paul Heyman. It just was so predictable how this promo was going, this entire segment was going to go. Even down to Kurt Angle making the match. Here's Kurt Angle, and everything ensues. If this thing wants to work right, please tell my computer didn't just freeze on me.
Kurt, I earned the opportunity to face Brock Lesnar. Last week, I was the only one standing, and that's why you should pick me.
Here comes Kane.
To be Brock Lesnar's opponent at the Royal Rumble.
As soon as you start, it's like, here comes Kane.
Brock Lesnar's list of victims, it's impressive. And while it does include my brother in destruction, The Undertaker, it does not include me. I'll get my chance at Royal Rumble unless you're man enough to stop me.
Then came Paul Heyman.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Just one after another, after another, after
Ladies
another.
and gentlemen, you're not going to have this discussion without input from the title holder.
Until Roman takes it at WrestleMania, as we all know.
My client, the reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar!
And of course, out comes Brock Lesnar due to Paul Heyman bringing him out. Very predictable how this entire thing went. You have Kurt Angle talk, saying he's going to name the #1 contender. The more over-champ person comes out first. His rival comes out. And then we have the champion's advocate, or if the champion wasn't Brock Lesnar. And here comes the announcement right here. Kurt Angle looks like he's scared as can be.
I need to make my announcement. At the Royal Rumble, it's going to be a triple threat match. Braun versus Kane.
And the crowd loves it, and I don't know why.
Kurt Angle, what a major announcement from Kurt Angle tonight. These three men will battle at the Rumble for the title. Kurt Angle just hightailed it out of the ring. And do you blame him? Not in the least.
They start to circle each other.
Oh my goodness.
Kane goes for Brock, and then Strowman gets clotheslined out of the ring. Kane goes to choke slam Brock Lesnar. Lesnar gets out of that. Very sloppily gets Kane up for an F5, but of course they cut it. And he hits the F5 to end the segment for the most part.
Market his territory. That's right, Kurt Angle.
Then Brock Lesnar just leaves the ring with his title. He gets back up to the ramp. Kane sits up, and Brock Lesnar has this look on his face. He's like, I just hit this guy with the F5. What the heck? So that's how we set up and we have 6 weeks to build for this match. So while Brock Lesnar's not going to be there the whole time, we know that. We all know that. So that was that for those guys. Then we had the announcers talking about what's happened between Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, and how a few weeks ago Matt Hardy pretty much just got beat by Bray Wyatt and started losing his mind. And then we cut to Bray Wyatt with more interaction, more talking instead of coming to the ring. So I don't know when these guys are going to have their talking segments in the ring, or when they're going to be in the ring, but it needs to be soon. Here's Bray Wyatt's segment.
What is it that draws you all
Before we
to Woken?
talk about this in a little bit more,
Is it his voice?
my computer's being a little stupid tonight. These two got to have some movement. They were moving around. They weren't just like in a box. Because the last 2 weeks, it's like you had a fixation on the head and the upper chest, and they were in a box, and they didn't move at all. It was just them talking and just like in a box. This week, at least they had movement, and they looked like they were a little more energetic about this. Bray Wyatt, of course, on Matt Hardy and what he plans to do.
The words that he speaks. His childish laugh. Oh. Or maybe it's all the funny faces he makes. Yeah, it's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. And that is where I come in. I am here to make sure that the right people get hurt. And the right people are Matt Hardy and all of you. So if Matt Hardy wants to continue on this little chess match of ours, I want to play. But I don't play by the rules. Hey now, I'm all around you, and I can see. I want you to tell everyone that you love that she is sorry.
And that was his segment. Matt Hardy, of course, had his segment later on in the show. Then we had it was supposed to be Samoa Joe versus Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins comes out to burn it down with his no shield gear tonight. Of course, if everybody doesn't know, and there were people wondering where was Roman tonight, Roman Reigns had the week off. Roman Reigns wasn't there for Monday Night Raw at all. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins did not wear the shield garb at all. Later on in the match Seth Rollins, the only shield thing that you saw tonight was the being called part of the shield and Seth Rollins wearing the shield shirt later. But right now, it was supposed to be Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. Seth comes out and gets in the ring, and all of a sudden, Jason Jordan's music hits. He's wanting to have a crack at Samoa Joe, but him and Seth Rollins go back at it back and forth for a bit, talking about who's going to face Joe. All of a sudden, Samoa Joe comes out. I hope they have this clip, but I don't think they do. Samoa Joe comes out saying, why don't you two face each other to see who's going to face me? And Seth Rollins is like, the match has already been made, and it's supposed to be me and you, so get your butt down here so I can whip it. And Jason Jordan can go off to get his father's approval. Well, here is Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins.
I understand that I'm not the guy that you want to see out here right now. You want Samoa Joe. I get it, but you're not the only one. I've been asking Kurt Angle for a match with Samoa Joe for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, you can count. Congratulations.
Here's the thing. I'm done asking.
Oh, are you?
I got nothing but respect for you, Seth. But if you have a bone to pick with Samoa Joe, you're going to have to pick the bones when I'm done with him.
Ooh, big words.
Now, gentlemen, it seems we have a very, very complex problem, and I believe in simple solutions. Since you both want to get your hands on me so very, very badly, how about right now we have Jason Jordan versus Seth Rollins? And the winner gets beat down and put to sleep by me.
Joe, that sounds absolutely wonderful, except for the fact that the match has already been made. Samoa Joe versus Seth Rollins. So why don't you mosey on down here and let me kick your teeth down your throat? And Jordan here can go look for his daddy's approval somewhere else. How about that, huh?
Yeah, that did make Jason very happy, so he decides to shove Seth Rollins. So Seth decides, well, you want this match? Then fine, we'll do that. They have and the match was pretty good. Jason Jordan versus Seth Rollins. Winner would go on to face Samoa Joe, because that's what I want to be able to do. Oh, instead of facing for a title, a #1 contendership for a title, let's face each other to see who faces this other guy. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. That's how that match happened. The match was for itself was pretty good. It wasn't a bad match at all. Let's see here. Joe is sitting at ringside for this match the whole time. He does come into play towards the end of the match. Jason gets sent to the outside as the first break. Joe taunts Jason as the break comes. Back from break, Jordan is sent outside and Rollins taunts Joe. Jordan catches Rollins, and this is what started this match to go. And this was a big story for this match. Seth Rollins is on the apron going to jump and try and lay out Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan catches him and runs him into the barricade, that curved portion on the way up to the ramp. He just runs and rams his back into the barricade. And Jason Jordan from then on for the entire match sits there and works on Seth Rollins' back, which was a great storytelling part right there. Seth Rollins sold that back the entire match. 1 count for Jason Jordan back inside. Jason starts working on the injured back of Rollins. He's really working on that back. And Jason is selling it, and Seth is selling it very well. Jordan goes for a pin, gets a 2 count, and looks to get very frustrated with the fact that he couldn't put Seth Rollins away. He hits a backbreaker, gets another pin. Seth is back in after throwing Jason into the turnbuckle, but only for a second, because then Jordan gets him with a belly to belly as we go to break. Rollins with a jumping leg drop which is pretty nice. Like Jason goes for looks like some kind of shoulder block when Seth Rollins is on the outside. Jordan misses as Seth Rollins leaps up and hits a leg drop on him on the outside. Another suplex by Jordan for 2. Joe just enjoying the show. Suicide dive by Rollins. This was a really interesting suicide dive. He goes out, hits him, but lands on his feet and turns and hits his back on the barricade right there. I haven't seen anybody really hit a suicide dive like this. Interesting spot by Seth Rollins at this time. Both men barely beat the 10 count after that spot. 2 double Northern Lights suplexes by Jason Jordan, which is a beautiful spot by him. That is actually one of the best moves he has. Northern Light, roll around, another Northern Light. He gets a 2 count for that. Jumping knee to Jordan on the outside after Rollins stares at Joe. He then picks Jordan up and throws Jason Jordan into Samoa Joe, then hits Joe with a super kick. Match ends with the knee, or the spinning knee, whatever they want to call it, to Jordan by Rollins for a kick after kicking out of a roll-up. When it was Seth Rollins post-match, Samoa Joe and Rollins brawl. Joe, referee's trying to break these two up. He pretty much has Seth Rollins prone. Joe gives a nice little cheap shot to Seth Rollins, picks him up and hits him with this nasty jumping Uranagi onto the ground, onto the mat, and starts beating him a little bit more until the referees come out to stop him. Then as he's walking away, he clotheslines Jason Jordan just for good measure. Then we are told that Absolution, for the first time, they say, Corey Graves said this, for the first time these two tag teams will battle at this time. Absolution and Sasha Banks and friends, Becky James and Bayley, as I'm calling them, will battle for the first time, even though the way they made that sound, this will be the first time these two teams meet up, even though Tribute to the Troops was last Thursday and those two teams met up there. In the back, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose are in Kurt's office asking for a match against Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, like Jason Jordan, comes in as well, wanting a match too. They are all three told that they will have a 6-man tag match later in the night with Joe in the Bar versus Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Jason Jordan. Roman Reigns ain't here tonight, so they had to find somebody to team up with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. So it's not the Shield, but it's Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, because they did not use the Shield music, the Shield garb, or anything with the Shield except for one shirt that Seth Rollins wore. We get a look at Roken Matt Hardy, I played that clip already. Then we had Finn Balor versus The Miz Taraj in a 2-on-1 handicap match. What was the point of this match? Well, we got a debut out of this match. At the end of it, pretty much the match came down to The Miz Taraj beating down Finn Balor. Finn Balor looked to go for the coup de grace for the win. Bo Dallas grabs his leg, throws him into the ring. They beat him down. We get a DQ. Then, who was supposed to debut tomorrow on 205 Live, Hideo Itami runs down to make the save to help Finn Balor. We go to commercial break. We come back, and of course, just like typical WWE, friend comes down to help somebody get in double team. Let's have a tag team match. So we had Hideo Itami and Finn Balor versus The Miz Taraj. And this match was it was an okay match. Match ended with Itami hitting the GTS on Axel for the win. So your winners were Finn Balor and Hideo Itami. I know he's going to 205 Live, and I hope they don't have Finn Balor going with him. That would be something I don't want to see. But I would say forget 205 Live for Hideo Itami. Have him and Finn Balor as a tag team. Gives Finn Balor something to do besides being in mid-card purgatory for the rest of his career. Have these two as a babyface team, because we only have really one babyface team, and that is the Shield for now. And they're only temporary. So Finn Balor and Hideo Itami, give them whatever name you want to give them. Those two as a tag team would be very beneficial for the tag team division for Monday Night Raw, and for Finn Balor as well, so he's not just sitting there taking on The Miz Taraj every week. Why this happened, I don't know. He's supposed to be going to 205 Live. That makes him and Enzo, who are both supposed to be on 205 Live, who have been able to interact and have matches with people not on 205 Live. But yet we have Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali and all these other guys like Tony Nese, who are stuck wrestling the same guys over and over and over again. They can't go and take on Seth Rollins or Dean Ambrose or The Miz or Samoa Joe or any of these guys. No, but Hideo Itami could be in a tag team match with Finn Balor, who I hope is not being put on 205 Live, because that would just kill his career. So, in the back, we had Cedric Alexander being asked about his number 1 contender match. Cedric says he wants to be the Cruiserweight Champion. He will take advantage of his second opportunity. And the only time he will be looking over Gulak is when he's standing over him. Then we had the Drew Gulak versus Cedric Alexander number 1 contenders match. Enzo is out for this match. They had a bunch of Star Wars references. This was one of those, I don't give a crap what Enzo says. Hit the mute button, wait for the match to happen. Cedric interrupts before the PowerPoint, which was supposed to be a tribute to Enzo by Drew Gulak, which, who really cares? These guys are being wasted, and I wish they would actually give these guys their time to shine, but they won't, and I don't understand why. So, match pretty much was an okay cruiserweight match. They wish they could do more than they were allowed to. We did see a standing Spanish fly, which is always a beautiful move when Cedric Alexander does it. He does it on the top rope, but the one on the top rope is impressive, but you have yourself studied and ready to do that. The running standing Spanish fly on the mat is so much more difficult to do, because if you aren't in sync with it at all, you can really botch and hurt somebody really badly. So I commend anybody who does that spot with Cedric Alexander, because that is a really beautiful spot. Cedric Alexander Enzo Amore was out, but he walks up at the beginning of the match to the announce table and has his little argument with Corey Graves. Towards the end of the match, he gets a text message or a DM from his little love affair, or his little lover girl, I shouldn't say little, but lover girl of Nia Jax. And he gets up and walks out. Lumbar check by Cedric Alexander for the 3 count, and he will face Enzo Amore at a later date. We come back from commercial break, and Enzo is walking in the back. And who did he run into but his favorite woman on the Raw roster right now with Nia Jax, and those two look to be getting into a special mood for a minute, and then chaos ensues.
Well, what do we got over here?
And that Nia in that smile.
Tweety Bird, I got that DM.
Well, I thought we could finish our conversation.
All I gotta say is that smile by Nia Jax is gotta be the creepiest smile on WWE's television right now. She just has that stalker-looking smile, and it just creeps me out every time I see it. I'm sure she doesn't really actually in real life smile like that. She's just pulling it on for the show.
Last week. That's unless you gotta check on your friend Drew.
Why is everybody throwing that word around, friend? The guy ain't my friend. So, look, he works for me. He's on the Zoe train, all right? But on to bigger and better things. That tweet. I've been thinking about it for a couple weeks, and I think that the answer is right at the tip of your tongue.
All of a sudden, Drew Gulak, after just getting his butt whipped by Cedric Alexander, comes in. He has a piece of tissue or something in his nose, looking like he's sick or something, ruining the entire mood for these two.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Look, Enzo, I have to own up to my family. 100% take ownership of that. And I thought I'd break the news to you firsthand. I lost to Cedric Alexander.
It's all right. Dude, fix
Enzo trying to be nice and everything because Nia's still there.
No, it's not all right. Enzo, I let you down, and I let the Zoe train down. I think we need to talk about it.
Just a little bit.
Look, I'm gonna let you handle this. Another time, Enzo.
Enzo in love with Nia Jax.
All right, look.
Excuse me why I barf because of this entire thing. It is cringe. It is just, I don't buy it. that this is all like this. Enzo, for weeks and months ago, we figured this guy was probably going to be future Endeavor, and now they have him as Cruiserweight Champion and doing a love story, a love angle, which anytime WWE does a love angle, 95 to 99% of the time, they are bogus, garbage, and not needed. And this, to me, feels like that type of angle. Why would I believe that these two have the hots for each other? Just because Enzo has got to be the most annoying person on WWE TV, and they're supposed to say, we expect me to believe that him and Nia have a thing for each other. I don't think so. I think Nia has a boyfriend or something outside of WWE. I could be wrong. I don't watch Total Divas, so I couldn't tell you. But it's just this. It just feels so like fake and bull
exactly.
and everything.
What happened out there? I need to review the tapes. Definitely look at that footage. I think I know what went wrong initially. But maybe if we go over it together, we can figure out what's wrong.
You did a lot of things wrong, Drew. A lot of things wrong.
And Enzo walks off so mad and everything. And the things that Drew did wrong, we all know, is he just ruined a big moment that he was about to have with her. But I'm just enough of that. Asuka is up next after this match, they say. It's Asuka versus Alicia Fox, which was supposed to happen last week, but Absolution got in the way and injured injured Alicia Fox's elbow. So yeah, that's how that went. And before the match, they love to do these, especially with Asuka matches lately, but they like to do these backstage video vignette things where it's like, oh, I faced Asuka last week or 2 weeks ago. I know what happened. I know how to beat her, and I'm going to beat her undefeated streak. They did it tonight. They are absolutely 100% cringe. They are just annoying. Stop doing them, WWE. They are not worth our time. Alicia Fox says she's going to win this match, or she's going to blow her. She's going to lose her mind, go crazy. She didn't really do that. Asuka wins. There's an Asuka going to kill you chant from the beginning. Alicia Fox tries to pull the heel. I'm going to get under the rope so you can't attack me. Didn't really work real well. Match ends with a kick to the head right into an rolled over into an armbar. Winner by submission is Asuka. No Absolution during this time. No Absolution at all. I know they had a match later in the night, but I'm surprised that they didn't have Absolution come out here and try and start with Asuka, but I guess they wanted to save that for later in the night. Then we had Rollins and Ambrose versus Jason Jordan and Jason Jordan versus The Bar and Joe. What was the point, and this is my big problem with this six-man tag match, what was the point of having a one-on-one match between Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins, the winner takes on Samoa Joe, at a later date, if Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan were going to be on the same team in the first place to take on, with Dean Ambrose, to take on The Bar and Samoa Joe? It made no sense. It was a good match, but it was wasteful of time. And as I mentioned earlier, and everyone else should know, Roman Reigns was not here tonight. So that's why they had Jason Jordan take his place. I didn't realize it until we got to until after they did the angle later on. Dean Ambrose didn't get in this match, really. He didn't tag in. He didn't do much. He pretty much sat on the sidelines and didn't do much. He's definitely got to be injured. Seth and Sheamus started the match. Jordan tagged in right away, and they started to have a little bit of an argument. Cheap shot to Joe by Jordan. Jordan takes the heat for the beginning of this match. Then Rollins tags in and starts cleaning house a little bit, and then we go to break. We come back, and Seth Rollins starts taking the heat for this match. Dean Ambrose really didn't do anything in this match due to his elbow, which they failed to mention until we got to the end of this match that Dean Ambrose was injured. It has been having problems with an injured elbow from the start. Another jumping leg drop by Seth Rollins. Leap of faith by Seth Rollins as we went to another break. Back from break. Oh, that was that one. Commentary selling the back injury from earlier. That was a pretty good point. Kick to the face by Sheamus from the outside. Gets a 2 for Cesaro. Ambrose antsy to get into this match. He didn't. 2 Irish Curse backbreakers, and the third one got reversed into a DDT. Beautiful spot. Rollins attempts to go for the tag, but Joe kills that plan. Jordan stops the count, stops a 2 count, and pays for it as he gets beat down and thrown outside. Sheamus gets thrown into the post. Basically, what happened was Seth Rollins was taken out. He was thrown outside of the ring. All 3 members of the Bar and Joe started beating on him. Dean Ambrose and Jason Jordan start coming around each side. Sheamus got attacked by Dean Ambrose and Samoa Joe by Jason Jordan. Sheamus gets thrown into the post by Dean Ambrose. This is about the only thing Dean Ambrose really got to do. He didn't take any bumps really, except for the last one. Then you had Jason Jordan getting thrown into the announcer's booth. He didn't really into the timekeeper's area. He wasn't seen, I think, again for the rest of this match. No, he wasn't. Dean Ambrose throws Seth Rollins back into the match. Looks like he's about ready to tag in, but Cesaro stops that momentum. Seth Rollins keeps trying, but he gets pushed back even more by Cesaro. Was a good looking spot. Cesaro with a boot to Dean's face. Both Cesaro and Joe tossed outside. Suicide dive by Seth Rollins. This is where things ended up bad for Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose gets pushed backwards and lands on his conveniently covered up elbow, which I didn't know, and they failed to mention, because usually during a match they would mention that a previous injury by a competitor has been he's been working with this injury for a while, but they didn't say anything about Dean Ambrose until this spot where he ends up either hitting the floor or the barricade with his elbow. He starts waving with it and everything. He's off to the side. The referee calls over the ringside technician. Match ends with Seth Rollins coming into the ring, getting hit with a bro kick. 1, 2, 3. Sheamus, Cesaro, The Bar, and Samoa Joe win the match. Then we had a limo pull up. As they show in the back, and out comes the ratings killer, Stephanie McMahon. We didn't know why Stephanie was here at the time. I figured she was going to come out they were going to go to break because they went to break afterwards. They always do that. And we were going to come back and Stephanie was going to be in the ring. That did not happen. And I'm still telling you, because they had the lowest second hour rating last week of all time. They were like, well, you know what? We're going to have Stephanie come in, we're going to have Stephanie come to Raw and show up during the second hour to build intrigue for that third hour. So people are going to come in, see what Stephanie wants, and watch everything. And I guarantee you that didn't work. Then we had the Woken One with his woken wisdom and broken brilliance have a segment of his own. And this is just, you have to listen to this. So here's Woken Matt Hardy. As soon as my computer wants to work. Woken Matt Hardy moves his pieces to position.
Checkmate! Monsieur Bonaparte, much like our battle at the Loo of Water, your forces, they have been eradicated! There is no need for the foul language. We live and we learn.
He's talking to a goldfish he calls Napoleon.
You've always had such a complex for having a small vessel, yes.
Napoleon Bonaparte in a
your
fish.
Homo sapien vessel, you're in line for a rematch. How does that sound? Wonderful! Well, I must bid you adieu, good sir. I have business to handle. The vast battlefield of the WWE is much like a chessboard. Every move strategic. Every maneuver must be precise, because one wrong move could lead to total and utter annihilation. Yes. He may not know it yet, but the consumer of terrestrial entities and I have been doing this twisted little tango since the beginning of existence. But my light will illuminate brighter than any shadow his darkness may cast. Now that the new battlefield has been set, I will stand side by side with all of my woken warriors as for the great war against Bray Wyatt and his evil, heinous Queen Sister Abigail. They must be stopped. They must be deleted! Delete! 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 Delete!
The Woken One has spoken. I hope they get these guys in the ring and interacting in the ring. Enough of these backstage segments. We gotta have in-ring segments. It makes it a lot better. We're in the back, and Dean Ambrose is getting checked on by the medical staff of WWE, when all of a sudden we have the Bar and Samoa Joe attack both him and Seth Rollins, who is there with him as well. And things don't go well for the Shield brothers. And I believe they have written Dean Ambrose off of WWE TV. So
Oh my God!
they take care of Seth Rollins by beating him down.
Oh! You're never safe, Seth. Look at me, you're never safe. No.
There's this open red container that has the WWE logo all over it. Conveniently right there, Dean Ambrose is looking to try and get himself up because of getting shoved over. And his arm with the black pad or elbow sleeve falls into it, and Samoa Joe runs full steam ahead and just closes the lid on top of Dean Ambrose's arm. Yeah, Dean Ambrose has been written off TV.
Help over here! Steve, we'll be alright. We need some help!
It's kind of a bad thing. If I had my guess. It's kind of a bad thing. The Shield has kind of been a failure, and a lot of it hasn't been WWE's fault. First, you had the mumps with Roman Reigns, and getting him getting sick, him being out for like a month, pretty much. Now you have Dean Ambrose in his elbow. So if Dean Ambrose is out for a significant amount of time, that just blows any chance of Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania in a match out of the water, and that just destroys any plans that they had for these two. It's terrible for Dean Ambrose. I hope everything is going to be fine with him. I didn't realize that he was that badly hurt. Then we had the return of the Revival. We come back from break. Rhino and Slater in the ring, ready to take on somebody, and out comes the Revival. Scott Dash and Dawson are back, looking like they never left. For some reason, during this match, we get a picture-in-picture, and in the bigger screen, we see Titus Worldwide of Dana Brooke dressed up as a businesswoman, taking statistics with Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews. For whatever reason, I don't know what that's going to lead to. Maybe it will lead to the Revival destroying them and putting Titus Worldwide out of commission forever. But that was that. Slater and Rhino get destroyed pretty much in the match. Pretty much Rhino didn't do anything in this match. He didn't. It was all Heath Slater. Rhino looks like he's going to get tagged in. Gets pulled down. Then we get hit. Slater gets hit with a Shadow Machine for the 3 count. The winners were the Revival. We see Stephanie and Kurt in the back talking. They did the whole, you get to see them, but there's no audio, so we don't know what they're saying. That's something they like to do now. We first saw it at War Games and NXT. We see it now on the main roster. Not a big fan of that. So why are you showing it at all? After that, we come back and you see Slater and Rhino in the back walking. Kurt Angle comes up to them, telling them, "Not a bad effort. That was a good effort. But if you guys want to have more opportunities, you're gonna have to toughen up." Slater doesn't know what Kurt Angle's talking about. So here's these two.
Hey, guys. Tough loss out there. But I do appreciate the effort. But with the New Year's coming up, I need you guys to toughen up a bit if you want more opportunities. You understand? Good, I know you can do it.
What did he mean by that? He's gonna get rid of us? He's gonna fire us? It's Christmas. I've got kids. I need this job. I got a pool.
He means we need to change.
What, are outfits? These are brand new. I just got them.
No. Like your attitude. How can we beat guys like Cesaro and Sheamus? You need to toughen up.
Toughen up?
Yeah. And I know exactly how to do that. Come on.
Oh, hold on, wait. Hey, man, is this gonna hurt?
What does that mean? I honestly don't think anyone really cares. Because it is Slater and Rhino, we really don't care. I don't care. Do you care? I don't think so. Slater and Rhino have been, since they won their SmackDown Live Tag Team titles and then lost them, have become pretty much they've been in catering with Titus O'Neil, with all those other people, and they're just enjoying the syrup on a log that Mr. Kevin Dunn has been serving them in catering. I don't care. I know you don't either. Then we had the worst portion of the night. 6 women's tag match. But before that, we had Elias in the ring, starting to tear down Tom Brady, saying many truths about Tom Brady. Pretty much about him, and I'm not going to get into it, not worth it. Then he starts to try and sing about Roger Goodell, which I wanted to hear this song so badly, see how he was going to tear down Roger Goodell. But alas, Sasha Banks comes out and interrupts him. He tries again. Mickie James comes out and interrupts him. Both of them are in the ring. He's like, it ain't bad being me. At that time, I'd have to agree with him. Then he tries again, and Bayley interrupts. He's like, you know what? Takes the earpiece off, eggs out, and leaves. 6-woman tag match, Absolution versus Banks and Friends. This match went nowhere. This match was pointless to have. From the get-go, Absolution pretty much destroyed these 3 women. Then, and the match ended up becoming, I believe it was a DQ. Didn't really beat anything. Post-match, Nia Jax comes out and gets in the ring, and they all start beating her up. She did give a double Samoan drop to Rose in the Ville, which was pretty impressive. Paige with the chop block to Nia, and they start beating her down. Then comes everybody. All the women from the back come out and start brawling. Then Stephanie's music hits. Not even a beat them down, get Absolution to run out of the ring like they did last week. We just had these 3 women, all these women brawling, and Stephanie's music comes on and everybody stops. And she just starts coming to the ring and to make a nice little announcement for everybody to hear.
3 years ago, a revolution started in the WWE, led by all of the women in this ring, all of the women on SmackDown Live, and every single woman to ever step foot inside the squared circle, including the fabulous Moolah and the great Mae Young. And all of you turned that revolution into an evolution.
I wouldn't say all of them.
Because of you, the Divas division became the women's division. You became the superstars and the headliners, main eventing just like the guys, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT pay-per-views, and blowing the roof off the joint.
I'd say Sasha Banks, Mickie James, Alexa Bliss, and Bayley, and Paige at some extent, yes. But Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, I'd say Nia Jax too, if you give her a chance. But Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, Alicia Fox, and Dana Brooke, no. Not even close. Not even close. Those ones could just go away and it wouldn't be any different. So, yes.
Because of you, we had the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match.
Awful,
the first
awful
ever
match.
women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And
Okay.
just 2 weeks ago, women competed inside the ring in the Middle East for the first time in WWE for the Women's Championship match. And what was the chant, Sasha? The chant was, "This is hope." You saw tears in the eyes of little girls ringside because you inspired those little girls. All of you have inspired people all over the world with your courage, with your passion, with your unbridled talent. But that's not enough. What do you say, ladies? You make history once again. Do you people want to see these women make history once again? Then on January 28th, the road to WrestleMania kicks off in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and we will have, for the very first time, an all-women's Royal Rumble match.
What did we say? What did everyone say? I know I said it. I know JD from New York said it. I'm sure other ones did too. That when those 5 women came up from NXT and Paige came back, what were they all doing? It was said that it wasn't for a Royal Rumble. It was for them to replenish the women's division, and with Mae Young Classic, it made sense. But with those 5 women coming up, there was no doubt in my mind and everyone else's mind that this was going to happen. I've said it before. I'll say it again. This match is going to be awful. And of course, the only one who could win this match, if she's in it, and she's going to be unless she wins the title that night, is going to be Asuka. Because you're not going to have Asuka go into this match and lose, and that's going to be a check against her winning streak. You cannot expect this match to be good at all. A women's battle royal has never, ever, as I've seen. Have you ever seen any memorable matches that are battle royals for women? No, not at all. So you're going to turn that into a Royal Rumble match? No, this is going to be horrible. I am not looking forward to that. That just makes the Royal Rumble. So basically, before we even get to the Royal Rumble, we have 2 matches. We have the 3 matches. Okay, we have the men's Royal Rumble, the women's Royal Rumble, and the triple threat title match. So far, Royal Rumble, just based off the card alone right now, is going to be no higher than a B-. And that's saying something. You have an awful triple threat match. You have a women's Royal Rumble that's going to be awful. And unless a SmackDown superstar wins the Royal Rumble, we already know Roman Reigns would win that match, and that would just destroy this entire pay-per-view. So the Royal Rumble is looking to be an awful pay-per-view, and that is a sad thing. We already have to sit through a WrestleMania that is going to be underwhelming this year, with Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar headlining the entire show. And I don't know what they're going to do with AJ Styles, or who he's going to face if he makes it to WrestleMania, which he should have last year, and they didn't do that. So, buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. We have 2 Royal Rumbles in one night. It's going to be awful. It's going to be exhausting. Yes, I know they're making all the big 4 pay-per-views, or 5. I don't know if they're going to do Money in the Bank, a 5-hour pay-per-view. They shouldn't. But we're going to have an awful Royal Rumble, just off of what we learned tonight. But that is going to be your Raw review show for December 19th, my bad. December 19th, 2017. Oh, it is December 18th, because it is past midnight as I finish this. You guys will see this on December 19th. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at TheFrance. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFrance008. And make sure to have yourselves a wonderful evening, afternoon, or night. I will be back here tomorrow for SmackDown Live. The fallout to Clash of Champions. What will happen with Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan after the controversy of that tag team match? And who will challenge AJ Styles for the WWE Championship next? I'm hoping they don't do anything with Jinder Mahal. We will find out tomorrow. I will see you guys tomorrow then. Until then, have a good one, and I will see you guys later.